Hey, it's the Foster's After Show on AfterBuzz TV. Tonight we're breaking down Season 4, Episode 6 called Justify, and you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Ladies, how are ya?
Great.
Good, thank you.
What an episode this was.
Holy hell.
I loved it.
Woo, we have a lot to talk about. You're watching the Foster's After Show. It's on AfterBuzz TV. If you want to tweet live with us, we tape around 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Jillian has the phone.
I do.
Is checking Twitter. You can tweet at Jillian Leff and hashtag ABTV Fosters. We love hearing from you. We also love hearing your messages on iTunes and YouTube and tweeting throughout the week. Let's do other intros. Jillian, I already kicked it off for you. Take it away.
Thanks for introducing me, Jeff. But I tweet from at Gillian Leff. And this one, we've missed her for the past 2 weeks.
I know, I
my
missed
God.
all of you. I'm Stephanie Giorgi. You can tweet me at Stephanie Giorgi.
And I'm Jeffrey Masters. A tweet from Jeff Masters 1. Hannah is out this week. Okay. Know what else is out?
What?
Possibly them of their house.
Oh my God. But like, I'm giggling, but like, it's not funny.
It's not funny. at
It's
all.
very stressful.
Oh, as you saw, Lena is the most stressed person on the show.
But
Wow.
she was incredible this episode.
I agree. This is the most upset we've ever seen her. Taking it out on her kids. Not that I think it was unwarranted at
Right.
times. But okay, do we think that they're going to lose the house?
No.
You don't think so?
No. However, if they do, it would just be a good opportunity to expand the family in some way where they would get a larger house. But I just don't think it's either going to be the same or be better.
Well, how would they get a larger house?
Robert Quinn.
Wait, keep talking, Jillian.
Yes, I know. Wait,
Yes.
I was like, I'm ready to hear more. Continue.
Okay, wait. So like, Robert Quinn bought the House for Girls United, and he's all about rescuing people. So I'm feeling like possibly he might want to rescue the Addams Foster family. After all, we haven't seen him in what, a full season?
Yes.
We don't know, do we? So that is my theory. I will save the rest for predictions, but I feel like that's plausible. I don't know. Like, it's kind of like he disappeared, and just from what I've seen on Twitter, the sister is back, Sophia.
Yes.
She's back in the finale episode.
Amazing.
So I don't know, like, whatever. Or they're gonna save the family by having them keep the house, and then he gives them some money.
Yes.
I have no idea.
That's what I think. I think Sophia will come around. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and piggyback on you. Sophia will definitely come around. She's going to overhear it. Callie and the kids won't even know, but Sophia will know. And then Sophia will tell her dad, and then her dad will come and talk to the parents.
Okay, so you're saying that Sophia will pull a Brandon Foster.
Why does Sophia sound so weird? I feel like we met
Sophie?
No, it is Sophia.
It is Sophia, yeah.
I'm just like, we
don't
haven't
say
talked
it
about
often.
her
Yeah,
in
exactly.
so long.
Oh wait, we could sell one of like Sophia's like mom jackets. Those things are
Yes,
designer.
that's probably all cashmere too. That's really expensive.
Bish, those are some like Chanel sweaters.
I
She had
know.
listen.
She looks like a beautiful Orange County housewife.
Yes,
Bird mom, yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, so I just think the world where Game of Thrones will kill off all your favorite characters and every show thinks that's trendy. They have taken people out of the show before. I just wonder if they're going to take them out of their house and just uproot them entirely.
Well,
I mean, I definitely could see that in they didn't switch houses, but in what is it called? What's the show called? Melissa and Joey. They redid the entire house. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
That sounds a lot less traumatic.
It does sound a lot less because they have the
sounds
money
like
and everything.
really ritzy.
But I would still think that I just don't think they would be in a smaller house.
Well, okay, so
Queso. I want some. Sorry, I'm 5 years old.
Andrew Barry said Robert has a construction company, so it could happen. Also,
Brandon.
I-
What if Brandon decides to build them a house?
Gabe,
With
you
Gabe's
mean?
help.
Gabriel. Sorry, I keep thinking Brandon because I was a little obsessed after last week's pants.
Oh, I have to say it.
Damn.
What if they move in with
Brandon?
Brandon and
This would
Courtney?
be great.
Stop it, Jeff.
by the way, is there any way that we can contact him and ask him to wear those pants on the show?
I'm a DM him.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm trying to see like that.
This is China here said it wouldn't be the same if they lost the house. We've seen it since the pilot, which I do think it. Certain things provide anchors for TV
Yes.
shows, and I feel like in order to have the ship sail, if we will, I think that it will be way more traumatic for fans than I feel like the show could ever anticipate. And I think that they're going to end up staying right where they are. But
extending the house.
I don't know if Lena's parents are going to end up on the right side of things. Because, let's be honest, her dad, bless you, could he go to jail for this stuff? I mean, he hasn't paid the IRS.
Yeah,
he owes them a lot of money. So
Lauryn Hill did.
He could get thrown in jail. Lauryn Hill. I missed you, girl.
I'm just saying.
It's true.
She did. Those taxes can get you, everyone. Pay your taxes.
I don't want to say anything controversial. Just kidding, I do.
Just kidding.
Just kidding, I do.
I think that it could actually be a brave and wonderful opportunity if they did lose the house. Just to have them move in somewhere else and to shake the show up that much. I think it'd be like a big brave choice, but this show has done things that we've not seen any other TV show do.
I guess you're right.
Well, you know what would be great is if they moved to La Jolla, which is too expensive for the record, but that way they would be near UCSD and maybe everyone else will apply to that college and then we'll just continue to see them in school.
And then Lena leaves Anchor Beach and she becomes a dean of students. So they get a discount on college and then they can all go to the same school.
And then Brandon...
It's like Mr. Feeney all over again.
Brandon will live at home because he can't afford dorms.
Yeah.
Yes, and then he can just go to USD for music.
Oh, we solved the problem of the show.
Okay, so everything's going to be all right, everyone. Don't worry.
You heard it here first.
We predicted the Anna and Mike relationship. And by we, I mean me.
I love how he never forgets when he says something right.
I'm pretty sure I predicted
actually,
it too,
I didn't remember any of that, but someone tweeted me and were like, you were right. And I was like, I love hearing this. What are you talking about?
Tell me it again.
Yes, again. Keep going.
Okay, so we've been talking about how stressed Lena is. I thought it was interesting that she's still sticking up for her father, though. He's the hero.
She's a daddy's girl, though.
At first.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you kind of get defensive. Like, I guess
Yes,
I can relate
exactly.
to this in a sense where, like, if you have a significant other, right, and you talk to your parents about them, and then they decide to infuse their opinion onto it, you're like, whoa, I didn't ask you for your opinion, I'm just telling you. Which I think that's what it was.
It is, because it's like, let me talk about my parents that way, but you didn't grow up with us. Relax. Just because you don't like your dad doesn't mean we have to hate mine.
I just can't wait till I'm old enough to speak to
We
my
just got
parents like that.
defensive for Lena. We were like, you know what, Steph?
I will
back
go to
down.
task for
I know.
And then we briefly mentioned Brandon, but the scene with Lena and Brandon saying,
Was
make
brilliant.
this right. And what did she say? Character is
Yes,
easier.
I'm so happy you wrote it down.
Oh, I
Remember
did
that
write it
character
down
last
somewhere.
stays together where change something. Oh, please tell me you did write it down. I didn't. Sorry, everyone. I wasn't taking my notes. However, while you're looking, I'm going to talk about that.
I have written down Lena has had it.
Yeah.
She has had it.
Characters
More ways than
easier to stay. Characters easier
Maintain.
to maintain.
Than to like make up for or something.
Make up for or something like that.
Gosh, darn
It's
it.
easier to maintain character than make up for it or something
Can we
like that.
pause the show, please?
Yeah, I'm gonna
I
run
just need
out,
to find
rewind.
This quote. I have it written down. How many pages do I have written down?
Well, regardless, I hate to say this, but I really love when real stuff happens on the show. And I'm obsessed with Lena and Brandon's dynamic, you know? And it was just so nice to see her be angry, you know? There's no way that people don't get angry like that. And I get that there might be households that are just like so peachy keen, but this is real. This is a family.
I think
love
I
it.
just like seeing that side of their
Lena with
relationship.
Brandon.
Yeah,
Yes.
Lena and Brandon, because we always think, obviously, that Steph is the disciplinarian and she is his biological mother. So, you know, she tends to lay it in a lot harder on him, I think.
Yeah.
And for her to be unaware of all of this stuff.
Is what I like even more.
Yeah, it's just like Lena's trying to handle it, among other things, but this is just really setting her off because, you know, we've brought it up in the past before, but a lot of people tweeted at me today when I mentioned that I watched the show and how Brandon has made mistakes over and over again and he's not learning from the mistakes.
Whereas Callie has.
More or
Callie has
less,
grown
more or
a
less.
lot.
But I can see why they get frustrated. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. In my home, I remember the repetitive mistakes, and not the same ones exactly, but you know, things that you do when you're in high school and when you're kind of old enough to feel like you realize what's going on, and your parents, you believe that your parents have given you the wisdom to do so, but then you're just still not the adult. You still don't know what you're doing.
I agree, and you know, Lena kind of has backed up what we're saying now. When he said, "I made this right," and she said, like when he bought back all the IDs, like
And it's
called
the
him
action.
out.
It's the action itself. Like, you have to realize just because you're making it better doesn't mean you already did it.
I know.
I mean, you didn't already do it, right?
That's a good point. Okay, I found the exact quote.
Oh,
Okay,
thank
go.
God.
Jeez.
Let me say it. Character
Character.
is much easier kept than recovered.
Damn.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Mic drop. Bam.
drop.
iPhone shatter.
Mic drop.
Thank you, Jeff.
I was like, oh my God, I hope I don't break
Stephanie
it.
was like trying to drop her actual mic. That's very clever. Okay, I want to do a special segment one time on our show, and I never want to repeat it again.
Okay.
Okay.
Courtney was wonderful. I know.
Courtney was wonderful. Name the segment. Bam. Just kidding. That's a little too strong of a word.
I know. You're right.
Talk to me.
She's better.
How about props for Courtney?
There you go.
Props for Courtney. She sold her surfboard. This was a baby step
Yes.
when I wanted a leap for all mankind.
Right.
But a baby step is in the direction of a leap.
You're right.
She, like, her little, like, hobbit feet, you know, they can't walk as far. She's not, like, Neil Armstrong.
Right.
But she's making progress. She is still stealing thousands from a child.
Yes.
She is.
And
She is.
I think
Jeff, you're
that
brilliant
ends
as well, by
segment.
the way.
Props for Courtney.
Can I just, I need to just mention this tweet because Mr. Jesse has been making me crack up not only on the pre-Periscope before the show that I did, but just now. He said, Brandon and Court's ship name should be Titanic. They're cute, but they're sinking.
Oh my goodness, Jesse, I loves you.
I love that.
That's
I had to,
amazing.
That's our ship name.
the Titanic. I had
the
to dig deep
Titanic.
for that tweet, but oh my God. Jesus. So
was
anyway,
great.
Lizette Escobar said, Court was decent. She made a small gesture. Progress.
Yes, small gesture, Lizette.
I'm just happy that she finally realized to say, you shouldn't be the only one making sacrifices. No, sweetheart, he shouldn't be making any sacrifices.
Lindsay McNeff said, yay, Jeff finally has something nice to say about Court. Sorry.
I was more something a little factual about her. Sorry.
Yeah, it was factual.
Yeah. Let's see. Sarah Fortin said, I was so proud of Lena for going off on Brandon for his mistakes. And then Maddie tweeted the tweet for us. I mean, the quote for us, which you kindly read.
Oh,
so,
thank you, Maddie.
yeah, you know, people are just really going crazy. And also, to stick with Lena, people are also talking about her going off on Callie.
Right, and that's a little bit of leftover anger. You know, she's just getting frustrated with her children, and then more so Callie and Brandon, because it's like, what's wrong with the two of you? Why do you guys think you can do whatever you want all the time?
It's just so normal in a family. Like, people just keep poking you, and eventually you're going to blow up. I think it's really interesting, too, that money issues are surrounding everybody. If I'm going to make it nitpicky, I really don't like that all these money issues are happening simultaneously to the big 40th birthday party we saw last week.
Yeah,
It seems like a little bit poor planning.
Oh, right, because there was spending there.
Yeah. Not that, like, these characters are, like, financial heroes who, like, know how to spend money, but I just would think when money's that tight, granted they didn't know they might be losing their house then, I just think you don't do that lavish of a
But
party.
even regardless of knowing or not knowing about the house situation and all of that stuff, which they found out at the party,
People throw money for their birthday.
people do put money in for the birthday, but they just spent all of that money on Gabe's thing. So for me, it's like,
right.
I get it's a 40th birthday, but like, why don't the mamas just go away for the weekend, just the two of them? Or why don't they have a small thing at the house? Like, believe me, I've been to a ton of parties where it's just a lasagna in the oven and a birthday cake and everyone's happy and,
So
you know,
good.
just about being together.
long.
So for me, I agree with you, Jeff, that it did feel a little bit like TV.
Yeah.
Which this show does not feel like all the time. And that's why I love it so much, but that felt a little too TV for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, Juilliard takes so few students into their any program, let alone the piano, which Brandon is trying to get in for. I'm trying to wonder if he's good enough for it.
Right. What, over after hearing him play today, or?
No, not judging like based on like anything I've heard. Just judging based on so few students get in, and TV shows tend to make their children like rock stars at one thing.
Right.
You know, the piano player, the science nerd, the dancer, and not everyone has that kind of skill,
Right.
especially that early.
Absolutely. It doesn't mean that they're not talented. It's just
Not at all. No, yeah, it's totally fine. And, like, how many people did theater in high school and, like, never again?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And different things like that. I played piano growing up for 9 years. Like, I was never going to even audition that close.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think, like, then, if that's the case, like, what is Brandon's path going to be?
I definitely think that he'll probably stay in the creative side. He might not end up in Juilliard, even though his passion is classical. But, you know, San Diego has pretty good music programs, and there's things that he can get into should he want to. And also, I think that if he got accepted into Juilliard, it would be a little bit too TV, meaning he has to kind of learn the lesson at this point. If he doesn't get accepted, then that's on him, you know? Whereas I think he's almost expecting to get accepted, but is thinking, well, I'm not going to be able to go anywhere because of money. It's like, no,
Yeah.
you need to know that, no, you didn't even get accepted. You lost your chances.
Yeah, like, Leah Michelle got into the best school in the world on Glee, but that show
Right.
was a little more fantastical.
Right.
It made sense.
And she was the most, oh my God.
Yeah, also, yeah.
I
But to
can't even
that
say
point-
words of how amazing she is.
But to that point, they also did separate storylines on the show and brought them only together for a few episodes.
That's true.
So it could be the case where Brandon, I mean, episode 9 is called New York. A lot of the fans have brought that up to us. We don't know what that means yet. I haven't read any synopses of the episode. We don't know. I don't want to know.
Oh, I
But-
think I know.
But I would hope that they would go to the school for this audition that they have been talking about all the time, and especially that they re-brought it up again this episode, how he really needs to be rehearsing, and yes, he has been rehearsing at the house, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, I feel like when they recall things constantly, it's obviously leading up to something, so I'm hoping that he doesn't screw it up for himself. Regardless, he's a talented kid. I just think he needs to figure his stuff out. Because right now, I mean...
what if maybe Callie's doing like a campus tour?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she likes NYU. She said she was from NYU when she was.
Oh, right. That was just us.
the mystery woman.
That was the line. That was Cameron speaking. I'm
These are
sorry.
expensive schools.
They
That's
are.
all I'm going to say. Just
I
kidding,
wanted to
that's
go to
not all I'll
NYU
say.
too.
Oh, and another thing that the fans brought up about the Callie and Lena interaction was when she said you have to commit to this family,
Yes.
which I thought was like shocking a little bit.
Because you're afraid of how Callie would have taken that?
I think so.
Oh, I agree, but I think Callie and a lot of what I've noticed in a lot of shows and an experience, I think a lot of young adults, a lot of youth, they want someone to care enough to be angry like that. They want, after seeing all their friends being disciplined and their parents getting mad at them, they don't have anyone to care about them. So I understand that the words may have been a little bit harsh, but it's one of those things where, no, I'm comfortable with you now, and I'm going to say what I want to say because I'm your mother.
And I agree that that's like an amazing thing that they feel comfortable yelling at her, which you do in hit families.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like it irked me because like the fight wasn't about that.
Right.
It's about a senior project.
True. She could. I mean, Lena can eventually apologize, but I think when it's committing to the family, just like follow the family rules, house rules, commit to us. We've already told you what to do. You've changed your project 3 times. She's just being kind of old Callie. I mean, right when she said that she thought it was lame, I got mad too, and I was like, oh man, I hope you get in trouble for that. Thank God she did.
I think it would be a different story if Callie and Brandon didn't hook up and they didn't have that to sort of hold above both of their heads. I feel like the way that they're reacting is because they did a really bad thing, and also we still have not talked about it. And it's just another thing that's getting like pushed away because Brandon moved out. How convenient that are we gonna ever have this conversation? I mean, really have the conversation?
Right.
So I think that also Lena used that to sort of point and make things a little bit heavier than they would have been. Because in the past they've coddled Callie and they really haven't told her like it is. Although they know that she's a tough girl and she can take it. I think there was always that fear of how is she going to react. And this time I think Lena was okay with saying it because it's like you have no right to react in any way except for to listen to me.
Yes.
I think she's just keeping so much bottled up inside of her too.
Yes.
She has this major moral dilemma to with Brandon and the SAT scores.
Little Miss Hungry said, I think the commit to the family line made Callie think about the sex thing, which I think so too.
Oof.
I don't know. It's like, honestly.
I don't know.
Yeah, but that's always still a mistake. I understand that's still gonna, hang over them, but they also just found out, and that should just be understood. And I'm not gonna lie, as much as I've always been a Bradley ship, it's so funny to me that now that the parents know, it's one of those things where like, nope, there's disciplinary actions, there's like protocol for this kind of a thing. So it doesn't really matter anymore. I mean, I kind of don't care. I hope that Brandon and Courtney stay together a little bit longer and that everything is forgotten so that it can rekindle the proper way.
Yeah, it was really emotional too. I thought for the audience to see like these 7 homes that Callie's been in depicted on screen, like in one picture.
Yeah.
I have to say though, I like the project better now that
she
she
stabbed.
sewed the canvas back up after stabbing it, because it really, I mean, if we're talking from like an art perspective,
Exactly.
like, believe me, I'm not an artist at all.
You're a singer.
You are an
Well,
artist.
yeah, but like not like an artiste. I just thought that it told more of the story.
Absolutely,
that it
it
wasn't
did.
such a clean slate, because her slate has never been clean.
Mm-hmm.
I think, after the adoption, even like she's had a bumpy road, but. Or the adoption. Have we ever seen Papers?
Right.
Also, which is another thing that fans always bring up to me. Like, do we really know?
Oh God, yes, we do. We do definitely know.
So I don't know. I like the way that it's going, and I'm happy that Lena finally forced her to finish something.
Yes, me too. I mean, that's Lena being both a teacher, an educator, and a mother, which is wonderful. And I think the artist part of it is really going to add so much more to it, and it makes it again real. It reflects perfectly to what she's been through, meaning all of these places may have looked perfect, but they weren't. And it's a nice reflection with the conversation that she had with Aaron. Aaron spoke so beautifully when he said, you got to love that little girl. You have to remind her because she's still inside you. And it was nice to hear him say, I hate to see myself. There's things in our past that we can't ignore. It is what it is, and we lived it. And like he said, you just got a raw deal for that time.
Yeah, I thought
was
that was
great.
it was really great. I thought it was an amazing coming out for a trans character on TV, just because we have so few examples of that on TV,
Exactly.
and a lot of them are like really fraught and dramatic and yelling. And this was so lighthearted. It was so easy and like such a non-issue. And I think that's so important to see that exists. That's a
Right.
reaction that exists.
I thought that it was great. And even it was funny too, because how many times do we meet someone and then we say like, oh, I have a trans friend. I have a black friend. Oh, I have
Yes.
it's like, good for him for
Good for
calling
him.
her out.
That means nothing.
Because that's
Yeah.
hysterical. And then just knowing how small the trans community is in the San Diego area, for him to be like, oh yeah, I know Cole. He's great.
Right.
Which
know,
I thought that was
seriously.
great.
That was great.
It kind of knocked me out, honestly, like how like amazed I was at like, oh my God, finally, yes. Like,
Right.
like this show got it right. They get many things right, but many shows don't get like trans representation right.
Right.
Yeah, it was
I do like
fantastic.
how I'm surprised that Callie didn't have a bit of a larger reaction.
I think she's very
oh,
comfortable. I
she
mean,
is. I
sort
get that,
of-
but still, I would have just been like, oh wow, and thank you for sharing.
I think that oftentimes like a larger surprise could seem like, I don't want to say like disrespectful, but come across as rude
That's
too.
true.
So I know that when my friends who come out to me as trans, it's been like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
thanks for
that's true.
sharing to me.
And
you don't wanna be like, whoa,
and you're making
yeah.
sure. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you don't
You're
want to say like, or you don't want to say like, I thought so. I had this conversation last weekend with actually my friend who is trans, and I said like, what is the proper like?
How do you approach or ask? You just shouldn't really. You just gotta
don't-
respect the person,
Yeah,
right?
I don't think you should ever ask, just
Yeah.
because they will tell you if they want.
Exactly.
But if they do tell you, I was asking my friend like, what is the proper response? Because like for one person, I kind of suspected, but I didn't want to say like, yeah, I clocked you, So and I don't know. It's a tricky subject. I thought she
Right,
handled
because
it
could you even say, "Oh,
perfectly.
interesting"? That wouldn't even be right. Like, what do you mean? Why?
I think like, oh, thank you for telling me. Like, thank you
Exactly.
for sharing that with me. Is like appropriate.
It is.
Beyond that, it's case by case basis.
Tis true.
Yeah. And speaking of the cases, the guy's still in prison. You like that segue? Is that a good segue or bad?
Yeah, sure. Shout out to the lefties out there. Hey, it's gonna save his butt.
Yep,
What's
that's
up?
true.
I'm excited for that.
Leff.
Leff, I know. It's like always like, oh, Jillian Leff, hi, her, left. No, I liked that. I like Callie and Aaron working together. I think that it's also important to note, that Lena said that she needs to not be focusing on this. It needs to be focusing on other things outside of this, because we know that Callie gets consumed very easily.
That
But
won't
this is
happen.
interesting that, somebody thought one thing was a throwaway, and then it just takes a second look. And
Do we actually think that a prosecutor or lawyer could have looked past that?
That's exactly what I thought. The moment it happened, right when she read that, I was like, wouldn't they have done all the tests? Like, wouldn't? But he had a public defender.
But also, like, I'm saying a missing page, even.
Well, then there would have to be. That means that someone was involved trying to protect themselves.
Yeah.
Someone had like a foot in, or.
And that's what Steph said. Now Steph is on the case,
Oh, she did?
yeah, well, she's the one that
in the very beginning.
Oh, you're right. When she
Yeah.
came in and started discussing it with her. Well, then there you go. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
In addition to having a public defender who wasn't probably all invested into the case.
Well, Lena said, I think you should give this up. Like, I think Steph is now fully on board, especially since that there was an injustice in her mind.
I think even more so now when Callie shares with her what's up. Because right now, nobody knows because it was just a voicemail left.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, Callie's all about righting wrongs, which I think is amazing. But she's literally tried to right every wrong she's faced. And it's kind of just like, okay.
Right.
That's a really great point.
Yeah,
I could almost, if Callie didn't go into like artistry, I could almost see her becoming a cop. Or not a cop, something in the justice, like a lawyer even.
Well, we were thinking that Aaron would be a positive influence in the sense that maybe Callie could take the internship that he has
and get into law?
When he's done with it and do something that like he's doing because,
That'd be incredible.
I hope to see a scene with all of them together, like the people that Aaron's been working with, Callie, to get like a better sense of things because we saw how much she thrived when she was working at the foster center.
Oh.
By the way, the actress that played Justina directed this episode. Fun fact.
Wow.
Found that out on Twitter
very
today.
fun fact.
That's very funny. Yes.
She even thrived working with Justina, although that turned out poorly.
Yeah.
Right.
So it all sort of like centers around the care of others that have been wronged, essentially.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe she'll work for what's the place that Adnan Saeed it's not Project Justice. I forget what it's called.
I know what you
But
mean.
anyway, they find these cases that have mistakes like this, and then they try to investigate and get it to be reopened and retried.
The Blank
so much
Project?
work.
Yeah, the something project. I
know what
forget.
you mean.
Somebody's going to
Oh
tweet
my
it at me.
God,
The Innocence Project.
The Innocence.
That's what it is.
Oh my God, cereal. Now we're talking.
That's
Yeah.
right.
No, I'm kidding.
Cereal.
Love cereal.
Absolutely. And the
Lucky
other
Charms.
thing with Callie that I think is so subtle, but I really want to point out is her relationship with AJ is so nice and normal and just good.
Yes.
Whereas it's not fraught with drama as many
Right.
other relationships are. And I think that's really important to point out that she's able to have that.
Yeah, I'm really surprised at how serious they've gotten. Hint, hint, preview.
I know.
But I do,
yeah.
right? Oh, God. Can you please cover her shoulders? Because I don't want to see them. Oh, my God.
Oh my God, I'm embarrassed for her.
I just don't want to see that. I'm like, why couldn't we see a scene like that with Callie on top of Brandon? I guess we just weren't ready for it yet. That's okay.
we weren't.
So I was going to say that I love their relationship and how easygoing it is, especially because I feel like AJ is Callie's escape in addition to the guy who understands her completely because he's gone through the same thing.
So we see right now that Callie and AJ have no drama, which obviously is not going to last long.
Right, because when they get caught up in their bedroom.
Yeah, but also the fact that in the 40 episode, when Aaron sent Callie the text of the jib jab, like the dancing Callie, AJ saw that and saw her smile and kind of was like a little pissed.
Yeah.
And then when she tried to get him to dance, he was like, nah, nah, nah. I guess he just got over it, but I feel like if Aaron's going to be around, which I think he is going to be around, it's going to cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, because Aaron's like kind of good at like being there and like sweet. I would have kissed him in that moment that he was like talking to me. I would be like, oh my God, I love you. Thanks.
In the
garage. Like it was just so sweet. It was a really tender moment.
People are able to have those feelings though and not act on them.
That's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, essentially is what we're seeing, but also
Yeah.
because Callie has that respect for AJ.
Absolutely.
I don't think she has any interest in anything more than that. However, she did kiss Aaron, so
Yeah.
Time
already.
will tell. Does anybody want to talk about marijuana?
yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Actually, I have a funny story, and I don't think my parents are going to watch this, so it's fine. But
Oh my God, now I'm scared for you.
well, no, actually, it
now I'm
was
scared for me.
it was kind of scary. It like Jude's storyline brought back like a lot of flashbacks for me, and some people aren't aware. Like I was very naive when I was an adult and have tried marijuana before, but there's all these different edibles that you can have, and like especially in California.
There's strands.
Yeah, if you have a medical card, you can pretty much go in and get whatever you want.
A medical card like Noah.
Yeah, like Noah. So the gummy worms were not a shock to me. I know some people were tweeting me like, I didn't know they could do that. I'm like, honey, they do everything.
Yeah.
You can get like popcorn, you can get lollipops,
The
whatever.
most delicious one that I've ever had in my life was a pumpkin roll with a cream cheese filling. Oh
Okay.
my goodness.
Everything.
Sorry, it was
But anyway,
incredible.
You're fine.
um,
I just don't want to make this an advertisement. for
no,
marijuana. Sorry.
No, it's not. Don't worry.
So the first and last time that I tried something edible like Jude did. I had a very different reaction to it, so I don't recommend it. And it kind of scared me. And the fact that he's just popping worms into his mouth, he has no idea about the dosage.
Yeah.
There are so many things that could go wrong in this situation. And for the moment, yes, it looked fun. They were playful. He had sort of like somebody there that he trusted and that guided him through it. Mm-hmm. But as far as just popping it before you go into class, what are you thinking, dude?
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know. Like,
wait
I
till
hope he
he's
like trips or
12
something.
minutes in, no, like about 15 minutes into the test, it's not going to be good.
Before a test.
No, but I'm saying, okay, mind you, edibles also, if you eat and you're like, oh, it doesn't do anything to me, that's because it doesn't hit you until later. And you have to be careful because, again, the dosages count. So that's why it was very dangerous. And if he kept going, ugh.
I think it's going to be really bad. But I think it's also something that it was important to bring up, and the conversation that Jude had with Brandon, because remember when Brandon tried brownies?
Yeah.
That was like the first time we saw the pot on the and he was like freaking out and tripping out, and we were like, oh my God, Lou with the drugs, like she's the worst, but also the best. Love you, Ashley. And
the drugs.
It was just like funny that they had this conversation, and then Brandon was like, what did he say? Don't try.
It's like an acid trip.
Yeah,
wait, that was a bad example.
Don't do
I've never
acid.
done acid before.
I think it's an important thing to bring up, but just the way that they did it, I hope that there's consequences, because there are when you don't know how to use it.
You know what, though? On this show in particular, and on any show, because it's scripted and because it's planned out, every action has a major consequence, and there's always a lesson to learn. And yet in life, things like this happen, and maybe he has like a bad little like reaction to it, and sometimes your parents don't find out those things. And I think it's important when you're growing to have these kind of secrets. So I think it's important to have like a resolution sometimes and not have your parents involved. And you can still learn from it without getting in trouble.
Exactly.
Because
and
mom
that's
is
part
the
of growing
vice
up.
principal of the school. Like, how can this end?
More than that, his mother is a cop.
Yeah.
If you don't have a medical marijuana card, you have no business with the stuff, especially as someone under 18.
I would like to see Noah's mom realizing that Noah is like taking bigger quantities because he's sharing it with
Yeah, that
Jude.
was a little sneaky.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that.
And my whole thing is that
Noah's his dealer.
Right. Noah also, my whole thing is that marijuana definitely reacts different, like is different for everyone. So I thought it was just a little funny. Noah, and mind you, because he said that his mother gives him small dosages, that means that he's adapted to it properly. Whereas Jude, it doesn't work like everything else in the world. Doesn't work like that. You have to kind of figure it out and then know what you're doing.
That's true.
We'll see. I don't think it's a huge deal. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. You're a horrible person. However, it isn't for everyone, and it's not as easygoing as you might think as it is.
Yeah, and I just know
It is a little taboo.
Yeah, and there are also a lot of kids that watch this show that have never experimented with drugs, have never drank, and like that's totally cool. And they're definitely not spreading this message that it's like you should try this.
No.
I think it's like one kid's experience, and I'm just hoping that something will come out of him eating these gummy worms while taking the test, because in my bad experience where I thought I ate a Kit Kat and I thought it was one dose, it was, and I have no I don't smoke, so when I had it, it was so intense that I was spinning and everything felt out of control, and it was so weird, and I never did it after that ever again. It's been like 3 or 4 years. So I think it's, I don't know, like...
Edibles aren't really that, well, it doesn't matter, but...
I'm like the only person that Dare actually worked for. That's all I'll say.
Drug abuse resistance education. Remember that, children.
Let's talk about Mariana. While we're talking about taboo things, when she said bitches get things done...
Yes!
That was my reaction. My second reaction was, can they say that on
Sure,
Freeform?
sure.
Yeah,
Here's the
bitch is
thing,
okay.
though, because you know what? That little boy, oh my goodness, how that made me mad, the way people can just, like, they just don't care, especially boys, when in regards to girls who get stuff done.
Steffi, he was just scared.
He was, I mean, not
just
even. He
scared.
just thought he could push it, but I'm happy that she said that because it's true.
And
Sorry, I'm not going to be a little girl all the time.
Yeah, and I was so proud to see this storyline because Mariana is the leader of the club. They're women in charge, but it's not easy.
It isn't.
It would have been so easy for the writers to be like, look, she's in charge. Listen to everything I say.
Exactly, but it doesn't work that way. And I'm happy that Mariana's character specifically when she said, "Do we have to choose your battles?" This is literally what women have to do in the business world, in the real world, is figure out how to be around or not to kind of make men feel emasculated or whatever.
Right.
Emasculated. What is the word?
Demasculated.
Demasculated.
Yeah.
And so I like that she was being very wise about it, and
Emasculated.
I don't know either.
What does the tweet say? Any tweet say?
Well, regardless, you know what I'm saying. To belittle someone,
Mariana. Yeah.
you don't want to belittle anyone, and so she was being wise about it. However, it's very unfortunate because, at a young age, you just don't get it.
That's something you got to learn. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been very fortunate in my adult life in a work situation where I haven't been pushed down in any way by a man and sort of been like in a really female-powered environment, which I know is not the case in every, job experience. But I do think that it's important that she stood up for herself, even though, the guys walked out. And I have to say, if a man did that, it wouldn't have gotten the same reaction. And I hate to pull out my woman card, but
It's true. Yeah.
it's out and it's bull crap.
It is.
Because honestly, like, I think that if it was a guy that way, the girls would have just been quiet and been like, okay, fine, whatever, rolled their eyes, and everyone else would have stayed.
Yeah, that's because women know to continue to work and not be little dum-dums about just being like, okay, well, I don't want to do this.
And I think the wheel issue, had it been a man in charge, the guy who made the bad call would have had to have confessed right there.
Or he would have probably tried to blame it on the girl, regardless.
That was kind of bull, though, because I don't know, like, if I were a man and not a boy in this situation, because clearly the immaturity was like disgusting, I would have been like, actually, like, I was the one that told her to order those wheels, whatever.
It is, but you know what also makes me a little upset is that I'm wondering, did he know better and just do it just to make her look bad?
I think he just thought wheels look cool.
Exactly.
Honestly.
So
Yeah.
Interesting dynamics with Emma and Jesus, and I loved that when they said that Jesus was joining the club, that Lena was like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah.
Like, I love her surprise at this, and I think that makes sense too, because oftentimes kids, like, their academic sides of their brain kick in late. Like, I remember very specifically, like, midway through college, I was like, "Oh, I could study and make straight A's," but it didn't dawn on me
so
before
funny,
that
me
I was
too.
like, I just did good enough. I was
Right.
like, oh, I can study.
I wish I knew you in college.
I don't think I had interest in
neurotic.
it. Yeah.
Let's see.
agree.
At Stark0546 said, "Bitches get things done" is going to be on my tombstone.
Right? Yes, girl. I'm going to put some flowers on that, but please don't die.
Also, a very mature conversation between Emma and Jesus about their relationship.
I loved it because this is what Noah was speaking about. He's like, I think people should see this side of men getting their heart broken. And what Emma needed to realize was that, sweetheart, he doesn't want to be just friends with benefits. Like, he likes you. Like, they can feel that way. And I thought it was really great. Noah's just, Jesus, I love you. He's just so great.
And the fact that he went to Mariana in private and was like, I know you saw Nick.
I love that. I love the way that he was looking at her just to see what she was going to say when Stephanie was bringing that all up to them.
I agree. What do we think about the Nick storyline?
I get her. I would have done the same thing.
It's just, no, I don't think that she's. I actually think she's wrong. I just think that her intentions are right.
Yeah.
No, I think she's wrong as well, but I just feel
Yeah.
like in her position, I would have done the same.
I'm just so surprised that the judicial system could let somebody out like this, and I think the loophole is that what Nick's father said, that no one had proof he had a gun at school.
Oh, I was just going to be like, it's just because he's white and comes from a rich family.
I
That
think
too.
that is a major factor.
Of course it is, because look at him. He looks like, he can't do no harm.
It reminded me of
Please.
the Berkeley
Had it been
rape
anyone
case.
else, they would have been like, that's a thug, that's this, that's a terrorist or whatever. But every time it's a white, and excuse me, but every time it's a white male, it goes to sickness. Oh, they're psychologically not there right now.
Right.
But it's like, no, get out of here. He's just manipulating the system and knows how to do it right because he had the money and the opportunities to get the education for it.
Well, I think we saw him massively manipulating
Absolutely.
at the courthouse,
The
surprisingly.
M necklace thing?
Yeah, get out.
Yeah, we've seen him be subtle and charming before, which is a manipulation, but not in a negative connotation.
Right, but just how you are
But
sometimes.
not for these bold-faced lies.
I mean, I think he was also playing the game in that sense, because the last time him and Mariana left off, it was like, you're still my girlfriend, you said it, we're going to be together when I get out. And then he was kind of like, well, obviously your mom is not going to let me see you, so what am I going to say to sort of make it all better? But the fact that Steph told Mariana flat out that if he contacts you, you need to let me know. Like, that's a violation of their agreement. It's a problem. And I would hope that it leads to consequences for him. But for Mariana, I think, you know, she's concerned about Nick, but also now about her safety, because it's not just about him anymore and what he's going to do to himself, but what is he going to do to her for lying?
Yeah. And at the end of the day, if I was her, I would think, as much as everyone says that they would take care of me and that they'd be there for me, he still showed up in my room.
Yeah.
In my house.
I think that something will happen, and I think that Nick will not be on the show for much longer, just because this kind of character, the kind of energy in the show is like okay and exciting to watch for a couple episodes, but like long term, that's not what this show's about.
Yeah, and it's
not
very
about,
toxic.
Yeah, like rehabilitating this person. It's about this other family, and I just don't know how you can get around it with this person on the show. So I'm worried that something bad will happen, and then he'll just go to juvie or something for long term.
I think he's going to end up going to prison.
I'm shocked that he's back on the show this early, honestly.
Me too.
We are almost out of time. Let's get to some predictions.
Yes.
Okay.
We have a lot to talk about from that promo.
AfterBuzz TV News. And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so let's briefly go through what we saw in the promo, because it was a lot.
Oh my God.
We saw Jesus in the hospital with something over his nose.
Yeah, what the heck?
And I doubt it was elective nose surgery. We also saw AJ and Callie in bed together.
Oh my gosh.
Fornicating. We saw Jude... Oh, God, telling
Jude
Callie
telling
to
off
get out
Callie.
of my life forever. Oh, we didn't even mention the Jude and Noah kiss.
I think it was cute.
Don't
and
at
playful.
me.
Yeah. Oh.
I thought it was giggly and sweet and perfect.
Yeah, I think it was.
And I'm not just pandering. I actually believe that.
I thought it was perfect, and especially like when it happened, it was like a good time.
And who knows what
fantastic.
they'll be. Doesn't matter.
Exactly. So,
Man, you know what?
slow.
Oh, continue.
Okay, so the other thing we saw is Mariana and pills.
Oh, right.
Homie's back to her pill game from season 1, ain't she?
Yeah, but she was pushing the pills in season 1. She wasn't taking them.
Oh.
Yeah. I
Change it
wonder
up.
what she thinks she needs them
Sure.
for though this time.
De-stress.
I guess.
Well, if it was ADD medication, she's taking it to stay up to finish the coding and everything, right?
Absolutely.
Or it's,
Of.
maybe it's like Xanax.
No, you're right.
and
I
she's
don't.
just
I don't
too
know what
stressed.
red and blue pills are. I don't know.
Well, my sister's a pharmacist. We can call her. Can we call her my
I know,
sister?
right?
This pill was red and blue. What was it? I have no idea what it
That's
is for.
unfortunate.
Oh, wait,
you see, here's my thing with the Jude though. I really hope that they don't. That's not what the marijuana is causing.
What, the
Causing
Callie
what?
fight?
Yeah, I hope that that's not why.
Oh, that's
Because
weird.
Because that just doesn't make sense. And it would just be silly.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate that he's even saying it.
Yeah, I think that the authors, I think the writers are going to take the Jude and Noah relationship a lot slower than the Johnner one, just because they saw how affected people got by that relationship, and I don't think they want to do that quite yet.
Right.
And also, like, why have rotating boyfriends or significant others for Jude? Like, that's not how like it works.
Yeah,
always.
exactly. However, I love Noah for him though.
Yeah,
He's cute. He's really cute. I think they're young, and let him have fun.
And he's just fun and he's great. I don't think he's a horrible influence, even though he shouldn't have done that, but
He has Jesus in his life.
that's what I'm saying.
I need to meet the mom.
Right, I need to meet the
that's
mom,
part
too.
of like what I want to talk about. But anyway, so I'm gonna go with Lizette's predictions that Brandon walks in on AJ and Callie.
Oh no, because it's Danny's house?
Or Mike and Anna. I don't know.
Oh God.
Oh, I just hope it's
Brandon.
Anna.
Lizette, what are you doing? What are you doing?
So that would be amazing if Brandon was the one to walk in on them. I feel like that would just make it
Official. They're
the
done.
most.
They're done after that.
So anyway, that is one prediction. And then the other one is about Jude and Callie. And I think that Jude is a teenager and he has a very protective and sometimes overbearing sister who feels like she needs to drill her influence into him.
Ah, okay.
And I think that little disagreement that we saw, I think that's what that was.
Yes, no,
I
you're
think
right.
it's him pushing her away because she's being overbearing again.
She's gonna figure it out, put herself in there, say that it's not okay, and he's just like, dude, get out of here. I have moms now. You
Yeah,
don't have to be my mom anymore.
I think that's a great prediction. I think that the Jude yelling at Callie's storyline will be like the least dramatic of the entire
Right.
episode. We have 3 more coming up. I feel like they're just still introducing drama.
Right.
Okay, can we just like predict one more thing, just like go down the line because I want to hear what
Please.
everything. Okay, so how do you think Jesus got hurt?
I'm really afraid that it was either something to do with Nick. If not, maybe something in the club with the guys.
Okay.
You know, for it to
But
be able to...
what did they say? I'm sorry, what did they say? They're like, oh my God, how did this happen? Or oh my God, why did this happen? It was as if they knew
I
already
don't know,
once
but
it was there.
really bad.
But to be in a hospital surrounded by your family...
And he had like a whole thing on.
Yeah.
My prediction is that Nick,
Through the fence.
Through the fence or something, yeah. Somebody attacks him or, I don't know. That's my prediction.
Wow.
Because
And-
he was so
I could
upset
see
about
him
the Nick
going
thing.
at him and being like, don't you dare talk to my sister or something like that.
Yeah.
I have no idea. The only thing I could thought of was like a car crash, and that was like the safety balloon. What's that called? Yeah. I have no idea.
Airbag.
Well, what I do hope is that it's smaller than we think it
mattress.
is.
Air mattress.
Because we really don't need any more fighting on this show.
I know.
Mm.
I guess we'll see. Oh, my sweet Noah.
Do you think we'll see a big like robotics competition to end the season?
Yes.
No, I think that'll be the second to last.
I think that'd be cool. We have like our dance competitions,
Right,
Romeo and
I know.
Juliet, well, the robotics. I'm excited for that.
If it is, then it better be a dope robot made by Mariana.
Mariana.
Yeah.
And coded by Amari.
Exactly.
Okay, everybody cover your ears. Jillian, are we allowed to announce who's coming next week on our show?
Yeah, go ahead.
You tell everybody.
We're going to have Hayden Byerly on the show next week.
It's our Judicorn.
Love him! I can't wait.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I missed Hayden the last time around, so I'm excited that he's coming
my
back and he's
God.
really excited to come in.
Good.
So
I can't wait to see how tall he is. Oh my God.
God.
Also, part of the Foster's family news, Rosie O'Donnell and Garrett Clayton have been cast in the Hairspray Live.
super excited.
Really?
So excited.
Garrett is Link Larkin.
Not really.
Yes. And then Rosie's playing a couple different roles.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
A gym
Oh.
teacher, stereotypes. Just kidding.
I know, right? She's probably going to be... actually, I have a couple ideas for that too.
All right, we have to go. Where can everybody find you until next time?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jillian Leff.
You can find me on Twitter and No, you can't. I'm only on Twitter at Stephanie Giorgi, on Instagram at the Stephanie Giorgi.
And I tweet from Jeff Masters 1. We'll see you next week with Hayden Byerly. Good night.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.